threshold in age that even such senior people can, be so biased that before they are researching, they are talking about the country. So this is a gross violation of research ethics. So basically, you are biased and you will align your research in such a way that suits your bias. So this is the same thing that happens with media news reporting, be it in television or anything. So if you open a television channel, you can make out which party is funding this television. Well, that's it. This is the same thing that happens in academia. So you as students need to observe and see. The learning part is look at how they have presented their papers. So একটা পেপারকে ওরা তো এখন লিখতে শুরু করে দিয়েছে, পেপারটাকে ওরা স্টেপ বাই স্টেপ কিভাবে একটা পিপিটির মধ্যে দিয়েছে, কতটা দিয়েছে, কতটা দেয়নি। Now they start writing the paper. ঠিক আছে? So it's a learning experience. Look at it from that perspective as well, not only as a voluntary.
Our next presentation of the day is the role of media in reviving field hockey in India by Pranav Khandel, MIT ISBJ. You may start. And your allotted time is 10 minutes. You will be notified then. Thank you.
All right, thank you. First of all, I would like to thank Sister Nivedita University for giving me this opportunity to come and present my research paper. My name is Pranav Khandale, and I'm a research scholar from MIT ISBJ, MIT ADT University. Thanks a lot for giving us this time, Dr. Mehul Brahma, and good afternoon to all my colleagues who are present today. So my topic is the role of media in reviving field hockey in India. Now, if you look at the history of Indian field hockey, we carry a very rich history. Till date, India has the most successful hockey team in the Olympics history. But unfortunately, due to certain circumstances, India had a downfall from the 1980s till the 2000 till the early 21st century, and there were quite a few reasons behind that, which I would like to present in this presentation of mine. Well, field hockey, like I mentioned, that it had a very rich history previously, but there was a decline in the 20th century due to inadequate administrative presence, lack of modern infrastructure, a global shift in the gameplay. Now, if you look at the history of field hockey, earlier the sport was played on mud or grass. Now, when you play on mud or grass, there's a huge lot of skill that is required, and holding the ball is one of the ways of knowing how skillful the player is. And if you have a look in the past, Indian and Pakistani players dominated. These two teams dominated field hockey earlier. But unfortunately, when the European countries came into the existence of the administration of field hockey, they gradually shifted the momentum towards their advantage. Now, the Europeans, when they came into play, when they came into the administrative part of field hockey, their strength was not holding the ball or skillful play. Their strength was, like you see in football right now, that they are really robust. They run fast. Their game is quick, and they also had come up with some advanced infrastructure where they introduced turf. So turf is something where the ball travels twice faster than what it is on the grass or mud. So they changed the sport completely to their strength. And also one of the major reasons why the downfall of hockey happened in India was, I'm not trying to blame any particular sport, but when India won the 1983 World Cup, a lot of interest sport in India, even though field hockey is a national sport. Okay. Now, in my literature review, I have looked at what has been the decline of Indian hockey, which I just spoke about, how the media has played a role in resurgence of hockey, how the government has intervened and partnered with media to bring up the sport, and how India has understood that administration is one of the key aspects of competing in a sport, developing a sport, and raising standards in that. Also, how grassroots level sports has improved in India, how grassroots level hockey has improved in India. In the literature review, like I mentioned, that India was the lack of infrastructure, modern infrastructure lacked at that point in time. In India right now, there are only a few states where hockey has been one of the major sports where they have ample of infrastructure. But if you look at the B grade cities or A grade cities, only the A plus cities have the infrastructure, but the A grade cities or B grade cities still lack in these particular infrastructure levels. Well, media has played a vital role in highlighting the heroes, and that is how they have actually researched the sport in India. What has happened is India was lacking behind earlier because there were not many heroes who were celebrated at a particular time, and media has done something very important in order to research this particular sport. They have started celebrating heroes. The government has also taken a lot of initiatives recently. You've seen the Odisha government, who has hosted back-to-back World Cups in India, and as a result, after a span of 20 years, India has started producing Olympic medals as well. That is not only that is the important factor, but government has also come up with certain initiatives and schemes like the top scheme, where they focus on concentrating on a sport where there is a chance of India getting a medal. They groom
Pranav, can we
these
move to the
athletes. They
methodology? Pranav, can we move to the methodology, please?
Sure, sure. So
Thank you.
it is my primary data collection. I was depending on the qualitative part of it because I am a national hockey player myself. So I had some good contacts, and for since I come from Pune, I have good contacts with Dhanraj Pillai as well. So I this particular research gave me an opportunity to go and speak to him about what exactly he thinks has been hampering in the field hockey area. So he gave me the reasons. He supported whatever research I have come up with. He himself, he contributed to that. Also, I had an opportunity of speaking to Yuvraj Valmiki, who's also a former Indian player. So I spoke to a lot of current players, former players who've represented India, current coaches who are coaching at the grassroots level, at the state level. And apart from that, I also had to go through quite a few journals and newspapers where they have been constantly writing about field hockey in India, how things were in the past, how things have been improving, how they are actually, organizing more and more tournaments, encouraging more kids to come and play the sport of hockey. And SAI has also taken a lot of initiatives to go ahead and support this particular sport in India. Now, coming to the research objectives, my objectives were how to examine how media has played a role, what kind of schemes has the government introduced, what changes are made by the Indian Federation in global hockey administration, and how we can synergize the energies between media and grassroots level. Now, while doing this entire research part, I also came up, with the conclusion that to achieve these objectives, India has adopted a two-pronged approach. Like I spoke about the primary, secondary, and the data which has been published in newspapers and articles. I've drawn several key conclusions in this. Basically, these are my analysis that meet representing India at a particular point. They have come up with, an approach of story. We've seen Rajesh, who retired from Indian hockey. His career was celebrated after winning the second bronze medal in Paris. Media advocacy of modernization has also improved the infrastructural administration. Now, you've also seen that more and more people are getting aware about what the situation is. Basically, they are also being aware and educated by the pathway to go ahead and represent their state team or a school team or play competitive hockey at this point in time, because earlier this was one of the missing things at the grassroots level. People did not know what if they take up a sport, how can they proceed, how can they progress in this particular field. But now, because of social media and the other medias, every Tom, Dick, and Harry is educated about what is the next step for him to grow in this particular field. Now, my understanding of this particular research is that it is very important that we contribute at the administrative level only. Yes, money is important, infrastructure is important, proper present at the administrative level. You will not be able to draw things which in your favor. I don't know whether it is ethically right or wrong, but unfortunately, this is how things have been in sports, and especially in field hockey, where things have been completely drastically changed, by the administrators. And because we did not have the infrastructure in the past, there was a huge disadvantage that we had in this particular sport. Now, the governments who have been contributing or been promoting have really raised their hands, and they've come up with excellent schemes. I've mentioned about the Odisha government who have also
Excuse me,
developed a lot of
your
infrastructure. Now,
sorry to intrude. Your
yeah,
10
sorry.
minutes is over. Your 10 minutes is over. You are allotted with 2 minutes bonus to wrap it up. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for reminding me about it. In my conclusion, I would like to quickly conclude that, celebrating your heroes is one of the most important things which needs to be done in order to uplift or research any particular activity, any sport, or any organization. You need to pay the dues to your own people. That is how people will get motivated, and that is how they will follow you. It has to be backed up by the government. Currently, the government is funding, the government is providing all the infrastructure. It is one of the most, I mean, in the history of sport, I would say this is one of the best period that India has ever seen. And we are not lacking anywhere. We are contributing in terms of funding, we are contributing in terms of administration. We've got proper management in place, and it is only going to go up from here onwards. With this, I would like to end my presentation over here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. So first of all, Pranav, a few things. See, the presentation that you have will not translate into a paper, okay? Because
Okay.
the paper's title was How Media is Impacting the Revival of Field Hockey. In your presentation, that is only one part of the story. The other parts of the story are all connected to what were the government policies, what the government needs to do. It is kind of a policy proposal document that these are the areas that you need to look into, and these are the areas that have been not looked into over the past whatever decades. So first you need to completely break down your presentation and focus on media, the political structure and the impact thereof of hockey, the era of decline and the era of resurrection. All these will only become the background of your paper. You're getting my point? So there you can talk about the
Yes, ma'am.
political support or not support that has been or has not been given to the hockey team and the challenges thereof. You as a player, what is your perspective and everything? So all that will come at that in the background part. But introduction onwards, you have to start connecting every statement that you say with the media news. So if you are talking about era of decline, then you have to connect how the media was responsible in a way or played a part in a way in the era of decline, influencing the government not to look at hockey as a sports of prominence. Okay. So similarly, when you are talking about the resurgence, you again should focus on media and how, you talked about making the heroes and everything. So how these making the heroes is impacting the government, like Orissa government in adopting a team and everything. So you divide your thing in two structures, era of resurgence, era of decline, and you focus on connecting so you need to also find out the media stories that you think were powerful enough to prove your point, either of decline or of resurgence. So that research you have to do. And then when you define media, I think in the decline, it is primarily the print media or the TV ads, whatever. And here, 2010 onwards, I think social media also has a role to play in this. So your definition of media will also change.
Right.
In terms of your method, I would suggest that when you are, see, we are very proud of you. You are, a proud athlete. You've represented the country. However, when you are, so you have to step out of your role as an Indian hockey player and focus on yourself as a scholar. So then you look at your methodology. So in your methodology, I think there will be some interviews and some case studies which will prove your point. So basically you plot the decline and the rise and you map it to the concerned media stories. Okay. So you have to do content analysis of those media stories. And this interview will basically
Correct.
corroborate that those media stories have impacted, the government policies in an adverse way or in a positive way. Am I clear?
Right.
Thank you,
Yes, sir.
Pranav. All the best for your paper.
Uh,
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mehul, sir. Our next presentation of the day is Deconstructing Digital Deception, an exploration of Potter's model in evaluating media literacy and fake news recognition among youth. The presentator of the day is Sankara Narayan K. Kadeswaran S. PSG College of Arts and Science College, Coimbatore.
Hi, good afternoon, all, Honorable Chair, and all the participants. Am I visible and audible?
Sorry, kindly start.
Hello,
Yeah, hello.
am I visible and audible, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. Please start.
Yeah, thank you. So, my area of study is basically the social media literacy and also the fake news. So, moving on with the introduction, literature methodology, I'll be having the data analysis discussion and last by the conclusion. So basically what we are going to look into my paper is the media literacy and fake news, how we can use that literacy level to detect or identify fake news. So media literacy is the ability to analyze and produce the media information or messages, and it is considered to be one of the important essence of media literacy. And as we all know, social media is playing a very important role. So especially youth are triggered by various types of media messages nowadays, and hence it plays a significant role in their lives, in their daily lives. So we have now over 700 million
Excuse me.
internet users in India.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
Your presentation is not visible, sir.
is it visible now?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
You just
sorry.
zoom in. Huh.
Just go slide share mode.
Present it in slide share mode.
Hourglass. Say.
There's an hourglass at the bottom. You may click on that. Yeah, left of it.
Fine now.
See, where you zoomed, just on the left of it, there's an hourglass, you know, left. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just click on that. Can you click on that?
Yes, sir. One second.
Yeah. So it's want
Yeah.
it in the slide share mode. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So now 4.7 billion people are active social media users as of 2023. And here I am going to take the Porter's model of media literacy. And there are major four factors in that. That is the knowledge structure. The combination of knowledge structure will feed into the second factor called personal locus. And that's where the decision about the information processing are happening. And the third factor is the person's set of competencies and skills, where the information processing tools are made. And then the fourth factor is the flow of information processing tasks. And all these major four factors work together interactively in a system to have a media literacy. Thereby, we can define a person as a media literate or not. And on the other hand, the fake news is a very significant problem in a democratic society, especially in India. And during COVID period also, we have seen that outburst of fake news regarding the health kind of communication as well. So according to an independent researcher in that by Tanushree, 51% of the respondents agreed that they have an information the problem where the particular agenda is being happening through fake news media, and 31% of the online consumers are also feeling less confidence in their ability to identify fake news. And going to a review of literature, it is the ability to sensitize and analyze the produced information for specific literature as instituted by the Aspen Institute 1993. And digital literacy is a set of competencies required for individual using the digital platforms. And in 2022, Nagel has shown that media literacy scale are correlated with existing fake news attitudes and behaviors and fake news education efforts. And there are many kind of literature that I have gone through while the study, and especially in the area of fake news, many studies are happening also, both technically and communication wise. So in that, all that studies, what they have told is like fake news is a very significant problem, and to the very extent, all the respondents are not able to identify what is fake news and what is truth. So there is a problem between identifying what is fact and what is fake. So this is the overall view of Porter's cognitive model of media literacy. And in this framework, as mentioned earlier in the introduction, this is a structure of Porter's model, where the knowledge structure have 5 major components called effects, media effects, content, industries, and the real world and the self. And it all composites together to have the personal locus where the decisions are made by an individual, and it have the competencies and skills where the information processing tools are there, where we have the goals and desires to have a certain kind of competencies, have skills, and it all compete together to have a flow of information processing tasks where we filter the messages, we match the meaning of those messages and construct our own meaning. So the two major objectives of my study is to find out the proficiency level of the social media platform affects identifying fake news or not, and to find out the relationship between the knowledge structure, basically the Porter's model's 4 factors, and the identification ability of the fake news. So my research questions goes to the is there any association between the proficiency level in social media and the identification of fake news, and is there any association between the media literacy level and the identification of fake news? So the current investigation attempts to bring light to the media literacy level and the user's ability to detect the fake news. And simple random sampling was applied. Since this is a small time, like I only had time to get 200 forms, and out of that 146 samples were selected, since either it is wrongly filled or like filled in a tic-tac forms. So the items were adequate enough to have the reliability, and the data was then analyzed for association established using the chi-square test. I had a good KMO value also that have the high degree of sampling adequacy as well. And these are the data analysis and interpretation. I had 146 samples with 52% of males and 48% of males. And Smith as Anderson in 2018 in a study suggested that users among this age group of 17 to 28 are the most avid users of social media platform. Hence, I went through that uh, particular age group, and the time they spend on social media is also very on an average they are spending almost 2 to 4 hours together. And majority of the respondents use social media to get the latest happenings and news, primary source of news today, and only 35% use it for connecting with family and friends, where I got the responses like from that I'm doing. So the major source of media consuming news is a major highlight here, because most of the people, 82% are using social media to have to get the news rather than from the traditional news sources like TV and newspapers. And this is the chi-square values. Here we can see that all the social media use, analyzing news, the proficiency in social media tools, their UI UX design features, familiarity with their visual appearances of social media. All these factors have statistically significant association between the media literacy level and, sorry, it's not sharing, it's identification of fake news. And the fact checking tools versus fake news identification also, I didn't got any significant association between the fact checking and the time spent in the identification of the fake news. So how the participants
No,
identified fake news?
hi.
Yes, sir.
Can you
Yeah.
just, this is interesting. So, you didn't find any significance between the number of hours of usage and the fact checking? So, I didn't get that association.
Not fact checking, sir, like fact checking and fake news identification.
Okay.
Time spent versus fake news identification is different.
Oh, okay. Understood.
Yeah. And how participant identified the fake news is like they gave we gave two choices regarding on how they are able to categorize that fake news regarding their technical knowledge and non-technical knowledge. Technical knowledge means about the knowledge factors, like we discussed on the Porter's model, like the media effects, what is the structure of information, how it is appearing and all. And the non-technical is based on their personal experience, peer group discussions, and the conclusion based on their demographic variables, like where they are coming from, what culture they are into, and what is their religion, what is their religious political things, those kind of things. So as a whole, when we are discussing the conclusion part, the more the media literate the respondent, the possibility of identification of fake news is more, and vice versa. And the time spent on social media has no effect on sharing of fake news. And again, I am very sorry, like it's identification of fake news. And the study is mainly to find out the literacy level, where it can be associated with the verification or identification of the news. So I got a significant relation or association with that. So the confidence on the other part in identifying the fake news is still an ongoing challenge among the youth to some extent, because some youth is also finding it difficult to segregate what is fact and fake. Again, we cannot say that like whatever news they are consuming is fake or not. It is according to their perception that it is fake or fact. So we are getting the responses regarding that. We cannot say that they are seeing the fake news or they are seeing the fact news. So the 75% of the respondents still feel that that making awareness or conducting classes like how we can detect fake news, or what are the inclusion exclusions of fact versus fake, those kind of things will especially increase the media literacy level and thereby decreasing the sharing of fake news. And the importance of these media literacy components, such as whatever it is depicted in the Porter's model, the personal focus, the structural knowledge about the media, and the ability to process the information and filter out the message is a major part in identifying the fake news. So as a whole, what I have got is like from the responses and the data analysis, the more the media literate you are, the more the possibility of identification of fake news, and the less media literate you're like you'll be overwhelmed by the media, and
Excuse
like
me.
you'll be more susceptible to fake news.
Excuse me. Your 10 minutes is
These
over.
are my
You're
references. Yeah.
Your 10 minutes is over. You're allotted with a 2 minutes bonus to wrap it up. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. So that's all about my study. Sir, to you.
Thank you. Very interesting study and very structured. So good to see a good presentation today. Um, just a few things. First is
Thank you, sir.
um, see uh, one interesting thing that I found that basically what you're saying, if you have not found a significance through your quantitative study, that the number of hours of usage and the degree of, see, it is commonsensical to assume that the more I am engaged with social media, the more is my propensity to unwittingly share fake news.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know that if your quantitative study has found otherwise, then it's a good study. It's an interesting fact that you can look at a little bit. I would
Yeah.
also, if you can look into, so you've somewhat mentioned that the areas of fake news are primarily maybe say political or religious or these kind of categories. So if you can look into the categories a little bit more, in terms of if we can pin down say top 3 categories or top 4 categories, that'll be a good, you may do it in a separate paper. So I'm not saying that in this paper per se. Number 3 is what is very important, that you need to know that today the school children are more exposed to social media and mobile than ever. So
Yeah, sir.
basically,
Yeah.
the demographic that you started with 17, I understand, maybe, but there was a, it is easier to collect it from the college students because you're teaching there and, the time was short. But I would suggest that you extend your study and include some schools in the study and just stretch that from 17 to maybe 14 or 13. So it
Okay.
will give you some interesting perspective in terms of what the school students are exploring. Are
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
also impacted by political or religious news? So that is an area that you can look into. But
Mhm.
good study overall. Thank you.
And the major
Yeah.
limitation what I found is like
Right.
when we are asking any questions or questionnaire, uh, like if I am going through a news like and I am thinking it is as a fact, I don't say that it's a fake news. So while the people are responding to the Google Forms or whatever phone calls that I had with the respondents, they are saying that I'm not having I'm not gone through any kind of fake news, even though they might have accidentally shared or not. It's up
Right.
to
Right.
them to tell that it is a share fake news or
Because
like
they
they
don't
have
want to own it up.
identified.
No.
Yeah,
They don't
yeah,
want to own it up. No, that is,
yeah.
nobody wants to. I mean, like, how would somebody say that, today I've shared 5 fake
Shared
news?
a fake. Yeah, yeah,
That is, though it is an anonymous survey, but people don't take those chances. That is how
yeah,
it is.
yeah.
So maybe the question framing needs to be, reworked so that people are
Yeah,
not
and
asked
the
directly
questions
that,
framed by myself have no terms regarding fake, misinformation, disinformation,
right, right,
anything like that.
right,
It directly says like I am able to identify a news as fake or not, or I'll be more enough intelligent to see a proper non-proper headline with
right,
clickbaits or satire kind of things.
right, right.
I have not given a questionnaire as a fake or fact or something like
So
that. I have
that's a smart
indirectly
thing to
asked them
do. No,
questions.
I think people are
Yeah,
smart enough to understand what you're asking. So that's why they
yeah,
have
yeah,
kind of averted that question. But good effort, good effort. Please
yeah.
include,
Thank you.
expand this study by including the school, because that
Sure.
will open a new dimension perhaps. Because I'm also keen in understanding that what is the school students, what is it that they are browsing, and when they encounter a fake news, are they also impacted with similar kind of fake news that maybe a little older demography is interested into. So that is
Yeah,
something
sir.
you need to explore. Thank you.
Sure, sir. I will. Thank you.
Good effort.
Thank you, Dr. Mahul Brahma sir. The next presentation of the day.
the smart way to do and the correct way to do. So all the subjects were correct, the flow was correct, he'd done the research, he's just going to expand the data set. Research paper they'll expand the data set. So he's on the right track. So this can be an example of what is the correct way of doing the paper and the presentation. But that's so it's Anisha ki
Professor Mohan Brahma. Yes, I know. You are
have you heard of NSSM?
yes, yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
I'll
Is
just
my
introduce
presentation?
your paper. I'll just introduce your paper a little bit to sir. Just a minute.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
The next paper of the day is The Semiotics of Oppression, Analyzing Visual and Symbolic Representations in Tamil Movie Mamanan by L. Suganthan Kumar and Dr. S. Nelson Mandela, Jain, deemed to be University. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm L. Sugantha Kumar, and I'm here to present my research article titled The Semiotics of Oppression, Visual and Symbolic Representations in Tamil Movie Mamanan, which I did with the collaborator of my research guide, Dr. S. Nelson Mandela, HOD and assistant professor from deemed to be University. So, is this visible, sir? Is my presentation visible?
No, not yet. Not yet.
It is not visible, sir?
Not yet. Just try again once more.
Just a minute, sir.
You just share your screen.
Yes, ma'am. I'm just doing that only. Yeah, just a minute. Is it visible now?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Just zoom it a little bit.
No, go for a slide share
Yes,
if you can.
slide show it.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. So when coming to the introduction, this article, my research analyzes how oppression is portrayed in Tamil film Mamanan, which is directed by director Mari Selvaraj, and where lead characters are done by actor Vadivelu and Udayanidhi Stalin. Fine. So this film this research employs semiotic analysis to reveal its complex visual and symbolic elements, offering deeper insights to the narrative, like how different kind of signs have been applied or different kinds of signs have been portrayed have been used to tell us the portrayal of oppression in the movie. Right. So my research objectives are to analyze the visual and symbolic elements in Mamanan, to examine how they convey the themes of oppression within the narrative structure, and also to investigate the effectiveness of semiotic tools such as color, framing, lighting, and body language in representing the socio-political dynamics of the caste struggles in the film. Right. And these are my research questions. And when it comes to my review of literature, I would like to emphasize 2 points from.
Can you let me know the research questions, please? Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, what symbolic motives are employed in Mamanan, and how do they enhance the film's critique of socio-political oppression in contemporary Tamil society? This is my research question, one of my research questions, and also how the use of lighting and framing and color in Mamanan contribute to the portrayal of oppression and resistance within the film.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
you can skip the literature review.
Yes, sir. Can I proceed with my framework, sir?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So the framework which I took for my study is semiotic theory, which is proposed by, Chaucer. It is mentioned wrongly. It is from Chaucer, and also a derivation from Roland Barthes. Chaucer's model of sign, which comprises of signifier and signified, and along with that, I have also included Roland Barthes' connotation denotation in a semiotic study. So the methodology for my study is a qualitative research design, where I do semiotic analysis in my film to understand the oppression, to understand the semiotics of oppression. And my primary data is the Mamanan movie, and also the few key scenes from the movie, which gives us the which feature visual elements such as framing, color, body language, spatial arrangement, costume, and their role in portraying the oppression and advancing the film's narrative and thematic content. So I'm beginning with my analysis part now. So in this analysis of this first scene, we do see a shot where the main character, the Mamanan, he's the Mamanan. So he's standing here, and we could see where the shot captures both Mamanan and the group behind him in a background, highlighting the separation and the potential isolation from the group. So I'm taking this as a signifier from in the aspect of framing and composition, and also this rugged and barren landscape in the background signifies the harshness and desolation, mirroring the internal state or societal standing of Maman. And the second signifier for me is the costume color, which is given for Mamanan. So Mamanan's black shirt, the choice of black for Mamanan's shirt contrasts starkly with white worn by the other people standing in the background of him. So black color symbolizes so many things, but in this aspect, in this framing aspect, black color symbolizes oppression, mourning, indicating his possible dissent, burden, or his grief, according to the scenario of this particular scene.
Is it a black and white photograph?
Yes, it is a black and white photograph. It is a still of a black and white photograph.
Okay.
I mean, the entire sequence in the film will be in black and white.
Okay.
And my third signifier from this particular scene is the body language of this character Mamanan. We could see his facial expressions, and his shoulders are slugged down, so which gives us the expression, or which indicates that his compulsion, or which portrays his being cornered or where he has some limited choices. The exact context of the scene is that his son and few friends of his son have been brutally beaten by a few villagers where they went for bathing in a pond, in a temple's pond. So they were being beaten badly by a few upper caste people. So while telling the situation to the MLA of that constituency, this scenario happens. And when it comes to the signified, I could like to talk about the themes of oppression and caste dynamics, the visual distinction between Mamanan and the background characters through color and spatial arrangement. Like he's being given in the foreground and the rest of the characters in the background, which it enforces the narrative of the caste-based segregation and the protagonist resistance to it. And also his body language reflecting resignation signifies the oppressive weight of caste hierarchies, where lower caste often feel powerless. Like he doesn't have any other choice to do. He has given only one choice where he has to do that. He is not given the opportunity to choose between several choices. So my denotation and connotation from this scene is that when we directly see the scene, a man is seen in black, looking solemn, standing apart from a group dressed in where the other group is dressed in white in a barren landscape. So the connotation from this particular scene is that culturally and symbolically, these elements serves as a commentary on social isolation, the burden of oppressive traditions, and the struggle against them. And now I'm coming to my second scene of my analysis. We could see two snaps from my second scene. So the first snap, the film. So when Ratnavelu is depicted in this particular scene, Ratnavelu is depicted with his arms raised, and he's going to be. It clearly tells us he's in a killing scene. He's in a scene of killing someone. So the context of this entire scene is that he's killing his own dog, where his own dog lost in a dog race, where to another dog from a lower community of people. So to give us to portray his aggression, he's killing his own dog. That is the entire context of the scene. So when it comes to signifier, I'm just talking about the framing and composition in the first aspect. He's depicted with his arms raised and the head bowed in the gesture of frustration and anger. And this tight shot also gives us his tense facial expression and his posture. And the second signifier from this scene is the costume color, where he's wearing a white tank top, and we could see some stains of blood. which clearly signifies the violent act against a dog, a stark visual representation of the consequences of his shame and rage. This is because Ware felt very ashamed of losing a dog race to a low community people. And the and my third signifier is my body language, where he is raised and clenched arms, and his facial expression convey intense anger and a physical manifestation of his inner turmoil. And my signified from this analysis is the themes. I like to talk about the themes of shame and caste dynamics, and also the resistance and confinement. When it comes to themes of shame and caste dynamics, killing of his own dog after losing a dog race, it clearly gives us a kind of hierarchical, what a kind of casteism mind, and also it deeply reflects the shame linked with his failures against the lower caste individuals. His action also shows us the extreme measures taken to erase or avenge political humiliations. And the next signified I would like to talk about is about resistance and confinement. The visual portrayal of confinement and distress suggests that this character Ratnavelu's internal conflict with the harsh societal expectation and his societal his expectation and his belief is a hierarchical caste societal beliefs. And my denotation and connotation from this scene is like when we directly see this scene, it character denotes like he's in a state of distress marked by blood and aggressive posturing with a confined space. And what I connotate from this scene is that his act of killing his own dog reflects his struggle to reclaim his honor or power and highlights the destructive nature of caste pride. And this is one of the most important scene in the film. And I've done the same semiotic analysis in this film, where we the first signifier for this scene is the framing of this film and the spatial arrangement of the characters. When we do look at this particular shot, we could see this character Mamandan and this son, and the rest of the characters in the left. So we could see the weightage given to the character who is
Excuse
belonging
me?
to the oppressed. Yes, ma'am.
Your 10 minutes is over. You are allotted with a 2 minutes bonus to wrap up your paper. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I like to come. So when we look at the scene, we could see that the spatial weightage for the characters with belongs to oppressed community is being given less, and for the people from the hierarchical caste has been given more. So I would like to talk about the dominant positioning. And the next, the signifier from this framing is nothing but the themes of oppression and caste dynamics. This scene used spatial dominance and confrontational body language to symbolize caste power, struggles, and with the Ratnavelu's central positioning, highlighting his upper caste authority. And my denotation and connotation from this scene is that when you directly see this scene depicts a group of men in a discussion with Ratnavelu gesturing assertively, indicating a confrontational moment. And the connotation is that Ratnavelu's dominant stance and assertive body language symbolize entrenched caste power and highlighting social tensions and challenges faced by the lower caste. I would like to conclude my paper. Like I say, this film serves as a profound critique of contemporary Tamil society using semiotic elements to highlight the complexities of caste dynamics and oppression. And I also believe that this film stands as a model for future cinematic works that seeks to dismantle the oppression and advocate for social justice, underscoring the powerful role of visual storytelling and cultural transformation. Thank you.
Thank you. Very interesting analysis. I just wanted to understand. So in the film,
Yes, sir.
being white and the lower caste is wearing a dark color or a black, is it being distinguished that way?
No, sir, it is not distinguished that way. Because, actually,
Okay.
the guy, the Mamannan, the English term for the English, literal English translation is that the Great King. This guy from oppressed community is becoming an MLA of his own constituency, where he is being ordered by higher caste hierarchies, higher caste people. They are not the MLA. He is the candidate of that people.
Okay. And the gentleman who was beating the dog, he is a higher caste or a lower caste?
Yes, he is a higher caste man. He is a higher caste man.
And the gentleman who we saw first in the black shirt, he's a lower caste person.
Lower caste man.
And he becomes the MLA.
he becomes the MLA.
I-
He's becoming MLA through the the power of the higher caste people. Higher caste people appoints him as the MLA.
Okay.
That is the politics that was talked in the film. It was talked in the film.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
It is a kind
Thank
of
you.
a reserved area. It's kind of a reserved area.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good show.
Thank you so much.
Good show.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
கேள்வியே கேட்கல நல்லதா கேட்டதா ஒருவேளை ஃபைனல்ல இல்ல எல்லாருக்குமே கேள்வி கேக்குறாங்க எனக்கு கேட்கல ரெண்டு பேருக்கு ஒண்ணு நல்லா புரிஞ்சிருக்கு இல்லைன்னா புரியாம இருக்கு படமே பார்க்கவும் புரியாம
Hello,
மாட்டான்
excuse me. You may
Off
log out
வச்சிருக்கேன் mic.
for 1 to 2 minutes. Sir is on our break. Well, we may restart. The next presentation is the semiotics of oppression. I'm so sorry. The next presentation is stigmatization. It is there. I'm sorry. I missed it by, sorry. The next presentation is the Odyssey of Heroes from Victims to Despicable Acts to Underdogs in Hindi web series. The presentation is by Dr. Smriti Rai and Dr. Pooja Basnet from St. Joseph's College, Darjeeling. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. A very warm good afternoon. I hope I'm audible as well as visible. Is my presentation visible?
Yes, ma'am, you're visible. If you can kindly put it in slide share mode.
Yes, sir. Is it okay, sir?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I begin, sir?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Thank you. So the title has already been announced, and I am honored to be a part of the conclave for the second time. Well, the key concepts that I may explore for this one is we talk about the transition from television to OTT platforms, and as Henry Jenkins has said, this is the collision of from the old media to the new media. So over-the-top services talks exactly about how the convergence of the technology has brought in the changes in the television viewing. At the same time, when we talk about web series, these are non-scripted videos which are generally, let's say, streamed over the online. And when we talk about Odyssey or when we talk about the journey, it is about individuals' production or development or we talk about a change or shift from established notions of social constructions. We here in this concept, we take heroes as in the police who are believed to be strong, brave, with moral intention, and believed to be the savior of the world. In victims, we take those who are morally weak, who deserve compassion, who needs assistance, and who needs to be saved by the heroes. And the underdog, of course, defines as disadvantaged parties facing advantaged opponents. Well, the objective of the study is to study the patterns of heroes falling into disgrace, instability, and social stereotyping, and find out how the representations of heroes are portrayed in the web series. So, the research questions, as we may see, is in what ways has the web series seen the depiction of heroes from victims to heroes and the journey from the victims to underdog through nefarious acts? So in what ways have the stereotyping of heroes been portrayed in the web series? And has there been any discriminatory lens portrayed during the portrayal of the victims as heroes? So here, when we look at the theoretical framework, I've taken Stuart Hall's representation theory as we talk about changing relations of representations, shifting phases of relations of representations, as he believes that representations was a process by which members of a culture use language to produce meaning, and it's the organization of these signs which we use it to understand, to describe the world and into a wider set of values or ideologies. Well, for methodology and research design, I've used critical discourse analysis, which is from Tuan A. Van Dyke, and I've also used purposive sampling, and I've used Sacred Game Season 1. I have used the software MAX DQA to analyze, to transcribe, and to create codes, and the total codes which have been generated for this particular topic are 220. Well, the codes generated usually have been later on divided into themes, where these are few of the codes which have been generated, where you are seeing where you have it has tried to answer some of the objectives and the research questions. Some of the themes, well, which has been derived from the codes as well as from the study, are journey of the victims, which are also correlating with previous studies, and the stereotyping of heroes, as well as portrayal through, and there is a distinct portrayal through discriminatory lens in the study. The results as well, when we look into the first research questions, where we talk about from the victims to the heroes, it's the journey or it's the odyssey of how it has been said and done. We look at from victims to heroes, how these changes in the representation we've seen is through from victimization, they are seen as persistent and keen, with a keen vision. From low self-esteem and ideally manipulated, they prove to be defeaters of the evil, as well as when they have the dire need to prove for themselves, they are showing positive ethics, positive ethics, and that is how it traces the journey from the victims to the heroes. If we look at the research questions where they have been stereotyping of the heroes, of course, well, the heroes are stereotyped to be perceived as a savior. That means they need to save the people they need to save the city, they need to save the people who are in distress, they need to be the savior, they need to be in the forefront, they need to succeed. Well, there are gender inequalities which have been very distinctively portrayed in the series, where the ratio of male heroes definitely surpasses that of female. Well, there has been overshadowing of the heroes because, as the theme suggests, or as the title of the study suggests, from the underdogs from the victims to the heroes, as well as and showcasing the talent as the underdog. In the third research questions, we've tried to find out whether has there been any discriminatory angle. Yes, the professional discrimination in this particular study has been very, very prominent, where the hero, because they have been portrayed as the underdog, they've been looked at it from a very ordinary lens. The heroes that are portrayed, etc., look very similar. They look like common people. They could be any one of us. And the family background, the socioeconomic status does play a huge role in the way they are discriminated and in the way they are trying to climb up to the professional hierarchy. Well, if you have to look at the victims from underdog, there are certain ways in which they have been used as victims, where usage of derogatory languages, showing of low self-esteem, looking down on the protagonist. But however, they are very very keen on proving themselves, and in the pursuit of saving the world, they overcome the challenges. Well, stereotyping, well, the gender biases are inevitable in the particular study. However, if you look at it in terms of how been valorized, they have been valorized to look at the hero is every hero needs an arc of redemption, and the hero goes, fights a battle, destroys, and finally survives and lives the day. And this gives the perfect narrative arc for a hero to rise above the stereotype, as well as become a hero from victim and the underdog. Well, discrimination, of course, it lacks to a sense of belonging to the group, where because you do not belong to a particular family background, you do not belong to a particular social background. At the same time, you are downtrodden. You are looked as downtrodden. You are someone who cannot, who do not have a very high-fi background, etc. So these conflict of interests, the way the heroes are portrayed in the web series, well, they are looked in terms of failure, in terms of the family background. They come from a broken family where the relationships are not managed. That is how the discrimination is done. But again, the scornful and the disdain angle, they how they turn into the hero, and then they lead. It is only to persistence and the grit to make sure that they survive in this particular field. That is how they actually overcome the discrimination. Well, in conclusion, the hero's identities are represented as common men. They are victims, they're displeased, they're underachieved, but they, however, um, overcome all these challenges and emerge as the savior. Flawless behavior of the colleagues, etc., the representation, stereotype representation, the over exaggerated problems of fictional law and order represented problem solving situations, the overshadowing of the female heroes by male counterparts, all these things therefore add to the stereotype representation. At the same time, when we talk about professional discrimination, it is more to do with the acceptance by the crowd. It is more to do with the sense of belonging, to have somewhat like the collective identity of that, to have the sense of belonging to where they are currently in, and to make sure that these things happen. They want to climb up to the social ladder, and hence they do climb up the social ladder and help in majorly defeating the evil and emerging as victims. Well, the scope for future study can be where we talk about emblems of glorifying the crime, and the police, where we have taken in this study, we've taken them as heroes. They have seemed to be compromising a lot with how the crimes are committed, and they themselves are the perpetrators of crime. At the same time, therefore, we can be seen on how the concept or the narrative of heroes and police heroes as such can be seen in the film. Thank you for and with this, I end my presentation here. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
It's a very interesting perspective. I just wanted to understand that because you are studying only one series,
Yes, sir.
so it will be interesting if you can look into another series where there is a female police protagonist or a forest officer protagonist or somebody like that, and see whether the conclusions that you are drawing are aligned to it. That you may have a female protagonist, but there is a narrative which is basically pulling down the protagonist through various compulsions or something like that because she's a female. So that would be a little, that will make the study a little bit more interesting because it is just, the sample size is just one series. Uh, so therefore the biases that are inherent in the narrative are there, but we cannot extend it to a generalization of an OTT platform narrative. So that comparison, if you can just capture in some way, like a Sherni or something like that, where there is a, the female protagonist and it's named after that person. And there also, if some traits are being followed that you have inferred, then that will make your study a stronger study.
True, sir. True, sir.
Thank you.
True, sir. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Smriti Rai. Thank you, Dr. Mahul Brahma, sir. We are heading towards our next presentation, that is stigmatization, an explanatory study of emotions towards transgenders in popular Indian cinema by Shaswati Panda, Pankaj Garg from Chitkara University, Punjab. Thank you.
A very good afternoon, Professor Mehul. I'm Sashwati, and I hope I'm audible.
Yes, Shashwati, you're audible. That's fine.
Yeah, thank you.
Please
Thank you so
carry.
much. And good afternoon to everybody who is present there. So this is a part of the ongoing research paper, research that I'm presently
Shashwati,
doing.
can you do it on a slide share mode?
Yeah, just a sec.
Yeah.
Is it?
No,
Is
no.
it?
So
Is
you
it
no
visible?
no no you calm down. You calm down. You calm down. You have the Zoom link.
Yes.
In the low right
Yes.
corner. No. In the
Okay.
right corner, niche. In the bottom right. Yeah. Just where you have 0 to 100.
Yeah.
Just the
Got it.
icon beside that. Just the icon beside that, like a hourglass. On the left of the Zoom link.
On the left, yes.
Yes.
Got
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah. That's okay, right? Okay.
Yeah. Please continue.
Okay. So this is basically to understand the stigmatization of transgenders through popular cinema. This research is on representation of transgenders in popular Indian cinema. So I have, and the objective is to see the finer nuances of the emotions because media portrays certain kind of emotions, and through those portrayal of emotions we usually tend to promote certain stereotypes. And stereotypes, the problem with stereotypes are the prejudices that it can create towards certain groups. Even unwittingly, great filmmakers end up doing injustice to certain groups through those portrayals. So to understand the finer nuances of those emotions of transgenders in popular cinema in India. So the study is little broad in the sense I have taken 10 films from different languages and 8 films basically and 2 web series having significant screen time of transgenders. And the theoretical the theory that I have used to understand stigmatization is basically Emil Durkheim's deviance and Goffman's theme on Goffman's theory of stigmatization in 1963 that he had come up. And recently, Flynn and Link, they have worked on this, and very recently they have worked on this stigmatization, where this is like basically the methodology, and those 10 films will just go in a fast forward manner with all the 10 films and just one clips from each film. And then a focus group discussion with 12 students, each in the age group of 20 to 26. And they were randomly selected. And those two groups, their responses to certain questions regarding the films and representation and the emotions showed by popular films. So that's how this study was, made, and whatever findings I've got, I'll just, give them. So to understand stigmatization, let's just focus on a few things that what it brings. Because with stigma, when we label a certain group or certain people based on their physical deformity or maybe their mental illnesses, or because of from certain caste, class, or religion, or ethnicity. So this creates a certain kind of stereotypes, and these stereotypes leads to prejudices. And this us versus them. So the dominant, of course, is us, and them is the minority. Usually we find them in minority, and with that, they lose the social status without any fault of theirs. So by losing that social status, we end up discriminating. The majority community starts discriminating or becomes a part of the group that discriminates. So maybe individually, people would identify non-discriminatory by nature, but when we identify with the majority group, we become discriminatory unknowingly, unintentionally. And through those negative portrayals of certain groups or certain communities, there is a very widespread anger and antipathy towards these groups, which, due to stigmatization, this does a lot of disservice. So based on this theoretical understanding, let's just go and see. So I'll go to 1977, where for the first time, perhaps, they were given a screen time. They were visible, yet invisible. There was a very popular song with Tayyab Ali, Pyar Ka Dushman Hai Hai, where the clapping was there, the typical clapping that we usually identify with hijras, and the song, of course. But nobody remembers, the people who were seen, the hijras who were there. The face, nobody remembers. People remember the protagonist. So it was in 1977. From there, the journey, let's begin the journey. And this film was very popular, where Ashutosh Rana played the character of Lajja Shankar Pandey. He was lauded, got awards for the portrayal, because an excellent actor that he is in a villain role, he played it very well. But nobody questioned. The film was made by a female director, Tanuja Chandra. And there are hardly any writings that you'd find during that time talking about the disservice it could have done towards the transgender community. If they were there, there may be, some of them which I did not find, at least while I was doing this. So this is one movie. And there is another movie that is Sadashiv Amrapurkar, who played Maharani. These two movies were in the this Maharani, it's not 2011. I'm sorry, this is a wrong this thing. It was in 19.
That is okay.
maybe
That is
the
okay.
year.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
You
So
carry on.
the language used was very gross, and he was menacing and evil portrayed. So the transgender, we usually, when we see a frame, we remember vividly. If it is fear, these emotions are remembered by the viewers very vividly. So from there, if we come to see two films, simultaneously I'll talk about is Kanchana, which was very popular by Raghav Lawrence, and next is Lakshmi. It is a remake. So the point is, Kanchana talked about the indignity, talked about the discrimination against transgenders, and it is revenge taken by a transgender in present day. So that was the story. It's a horror and comedy, but the portrayal remains in a viewer's mind, which was very, very dangerous, very, very, the portrayal was very negative. The theme
No,
or
but
content
tell me one question I have.
Yeah.
Typically, if you see a hero's journey where if the hero is wrong, the hero takes revenge.
Yes.
Then why should it be more discriminating when it comes to a transgender? It's a hero's character.
It is a hero's character. That is what the intention of showing the discrimination against transgender was there in the maker's mind.
Right,
But
right.
then the way the character is portrayed, taking revenge in that getup, in that the typical and stereotypical portrayal of a transgender in a sari.
Right, right.
big
I
baby.
understood.
Yeah.
Understood.
So that
Because if you look at the first example that you have given, that
Yeah.
hi hi was basically a part of the transgender dialect. So that is why
Yes.
it was included in the. So your contention was that nobody remembers the transgenders who were there with Rishi Kapoor because everybody remembers the protagonist. But the subsequent examples immediately after that that you showed, everybody remembers the transgender character because they were the protagonist or the anti-protagonist, the
Yeah.
lead villains.
Yes.
So basically, I am looking at the progression of your the way you are constructing your stigmatization theory.
Yes.
So the first point that you made, you yourself, countered yourself in the second example that you gave.
Yes.
So
I'm
while
countering
building
in
the
the sense.
narrative, no,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. So while
Hmm.
building your narrative, you need to have a point that keeps building your narrative, not countering you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, it's just a suggestion. So just for an observation from my part.
So
Thank you.
next we will come to Riddhi Sen playing Puti in the Bengali language film Nagar Kirtan. An excellently made film that brought a little diversity in the sense from the regular films that we watch. The only thing is, it is a regional film, and the reach is not pan-India. Only people who really want to see good films probably would watch it. But this is a story where it is a love story where the emotions that we usually identify with, that of love, that of pain, that of, and the transition, the wanting to be a woman. So all these emotions are taken care of very well in the film. And this film had, we can say that it's a milestone in the way transgenders have been portrayed so far in popular cinema. This film, I have taken this because it was more popular. Chitrangada was also there, like when I studied more films. So it was also there. But I didn't want to intellectualize anything. This is just a plain common viewer's mind, how it perceives emotions towards transgenders and transgenders' emotions portrayed in cinema.
No, it was very delicately and sensitively handled by the director. So then it
Absolutely.
won awards
Absolutely.
also. So it's kind of,
And one more
I can
thing
understand.
that was
Yeah.
there was the diversity in the transgender community itself, where
Right. Right.
because she had not transitioned and she had a male genital, she was actually harassed by transgenders in
Right.
area
Right.
where she goes. So and the police, the custodial harassment, of course, which are true, pictures. The insensitivity, the stigma, and everything comes out brilliantly in this cinema. So
Right.
that's why I picked up this film from
Yeah. Yeah.
Bengali language.
Please carry on. Yeah.
Another, the very recent films after 2021, this is Chandigarh Kare Ashiki, that reached a lot of audience, which was an out and out commercial film. The character of a transgender played by a woman, which earlier had been played by male actors, Vani Kapoor. And of course, the look and everything was completely of a woman. There, they lose on a certain thing that it again creates a kind of picture that, okay, this is a perfect transgender, and a transgender must look, behave, and only when, even with those beautiful features, she faced ostracization, she faced those stigmatizations, she had to, see all the struggle, because when she came out, even the mom did not accept her. So all this story, but one thing that pan-Indian reach was there, and there was again a love story which youth could relate to, and the main
Excuse me.
protagonist, of course.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Your allotted time is over. You are
Okay. I'll just
allot.
quickly,
Yes,
show
yes.
you the other films that I have
Yeah. Yeah.
taken.
You have 1 minute to wrap it up. Thank
I'll
you.
wrap it up. Okay, this is Super Deluxe. Vijay Sethupathi played a role of a transgender, and Nan Marikutti is another film of individual victory, individual transgender's victory. When she becomes a police officer, and of course Tali and Meher's character in Made in Heaven season 2. So these are recent transgender portrayals where we see a transition from what was there to this. So there is a transition, but still the stigma continues till I find Meher's character, where her transness, over the transness, her individuality was highlighted in this. So I'm sorry, I just couldn't realize the time, and
That's okay. That's okay.
certain
Yeah.
findings which I have, but that's all from me. I think we should
So
respect
if
time.
you can just jump to the conclusion, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
So, to conclude, I can say that more than understanding, it is from the focus group discussion, what I found was the apathy, general apathy in people, and they accepted the transphobia is there. And the apathy is a matter of concern, though legally we may have come with the Nalsa judgment of 2014 and 18, but still socially, if we come to, the media or the popular cinema plays a very important role in creating the idea about transgenders, and that's the only bridge, perhaps, to change the social psyche of people in general. So that's my take on this. So positive
Thank you, Shashwati.
representation and
Yeah.
sensitizing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
Very
so much.
interesting work. I, just that is the only thing, that when you are building a narrative, you need to find the example. So, I know the choice set is very limited, but
Right.
you need to curate those examples so that it supports your research. So
Absolutely.
that way you need to kind of curate it. And
Right.
you can actually, do some, a case study method also along with your focus group discussion, where
Yes, sir.
instead
I'm
of
using them, sir.
analyzing all that, you just pick, say, 3 or 4 movies.
Sir,
You can talk about a transition from
great.
from Tayaballi to Made in Heaven. So your paper can be how the stigmatization is fading, but there is still, as the focus group discussion revealed, there is an antipathy towards it. So
Right, sir.
that can be the progression that you're talking about.
That's a great suggestion, sir. Thank you so
Okay.
much. That's a great
Thank you so
suggestion.
much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
sir.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, Shashwati Panda. Thank you,
Thank you. Thank
Dr.
you so
Mahul
much.
Brahma, sir. We head on to the next presentation. The next presentation of the day is the role of local journalism in supporting democracy by Munmun Pal Bag from Baharampur Girls College. You may proceed.
Good afternoon, sir. I am
Good
Munmun
afternoon.
Palva. I am Munmun Palva from Baharampur Girls College and SNU scholar. Good afternoon, online presenters. So, the topic of my research article
You're doing
is the
PhD from here.
yes from Sister Nivedita University.
Acha, who's your supervisor?
Buro Shubha sir.
Acha, ठीक.
Okay. The topic of the research article is the role of the local journalism in supporting democracy. Just give me a second, sir.
মনে হয় একটু স্লাইড শেয়ারটা দিও।
Yes, slide show.
একদম নিচে গিয়ে
নিচে
বটম রাইট
slide
কর্নার।
show. Yes.
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে, থ্যাংক ইউ।
So the role of the local journalism in supporting democracy. Okay, so these are the categories which I will proceed in my presentation. Local journalism is the reporting and coverage of news, issues, events at the community level, providing in-depth and nuanced storytelling that matters most to the local residents. Local journalists are often the first to report on local government activities, community issues, public meetings that generally go unnoticed by the larger media outlets. So this research article will examine the vital role of the local journalism and how it supports democracy. The main challenges they are facing is the economic pressures like the rise of the digital platforms, and with a downturn in print circulation, the biggest challenges local journalism faces is financial sustainability. The consolidation of media companies has also weakened local journalism. Then, and additionally, I want to add, additionally, misinformation spreads easily online, making it harder for local journalists to establish credibility and maintain trust with their audiences. That you can say a digital disruption. Then comes up political pressures and declining trust. I have done two case studies, two cases. The first one is the Adani Power case, Farakka controversy in 2022. The case involves multiple complex dimensions, including local coal shortages, contractual disputes, environmental degradation, and financial challenges, all of which directly affect the local population. Actually, what happened is the Adani Power got this contract. Jharkhand Thermal Power Company was supplying this high tension electric wire to Bangladesh. While
No, I'm aware.
entering,
You continue. I'm aware of what had happened. You continue
okay,
with
okay.
your presentation. Yeah.
Okay, then so while entering the Bengal, these areas, so the areas like Dadantal village, then another village, Nayanshu, Nagar, all these areas got affected. Police supported the case. Police supported the case. Now, in the Adani Power case, local reporters were of the first to expose the coal procurement issue, disruption in power supply, and environmental violation.
Munmun, I just wanted to understand your definition of local reporters. Who are you defining as local reporters?
So actually, they are reporting they are reporting issues and events at the community level, providing in-depth and
Through which? Through what? Through what? What is their medium?
they are mainly their medium. I have news that what kind of saying, like portal news. They are mainly concentrating on portal news.
Portal news.
Yes, exactly. Portal news. So you see, sir, this
Portal.
Adani power case, this first, it got published from Dhulian TV. Yes, Dhulian TV portal news. First
Acha.
news, this came. So I have also collected
So this
few
is
pages.
this a
Yes.
YouTube channel? Is this a YouTube channel?
No,
Dhulian TV?
no. This is not
Acha.
a U channel. This is just a news portal.
News portal. Acha.
The yes,
URL
news
টা কি?
portal. আচ্ছা
না URL টা কি?
ইউআরএল টা বলতে এই যেটা ধুলেন মানে ছোট ছোট নিজেরা যারা মানে যারা আনএমপ্লয়েড ইউথ আছে, তারা ছোট ছোট করে এরকম এই কমিউনিটি লেভেলে তাদের নিজেদের ভিলেজ এরিয়াস গুলোতে তারা এই
মুনমুন URL টা
হ্যাঁ
আমার মানে URL টা dhuliannews.com এর এরকম টাইপের কিছু?
ধুলিয়ান টিভি পোর্টাল নিউজ, এটা ধুলিয়ান টিভি পোর্টাল নিউজ মিডিয়া। দিস ইজ দ্য এরিয়া ওয়্যার আই হ্যাভ কালেক্টেড।
না, ধুলিয়ান টিভি পোর্টাল নিউজ বিজিআর URL টা তো আমি তো ইন্টারনেটে গিয়ে যদি সার্চ করি হোয়াট ডু আই টাইপ?
হ্যাঁ আচ্ছা, এটা হবে ধুলিয়ান, এটা পোর্টাল ইউআরএল টা আসবে ধুলিয়ান টিভি পোর্টাল নিউজ, এরকম করলেই ধুলিয়ান টিভির একটা ওরা লোকাল একটা টিভি এটা চলে আসবে। যেরকম TV9 এরকম বললে আসে, সেরকম ধুলিয়ান টিভি এরকম বললে ইট উইল কাম। ধুলিয়ান টিভি ওই সময়টাতে স্যার from this Dhulian TV news, this news got published, the Adani power case. Dhulian TV. Sir, shall I continue or I will wait?
হ্যাঁ, I've got it. Okay.
Yes, sir. That's yes.
হ্যাঁ।
Then
Continue,
another
continue.
okay. Then another so these are the case. Another case which I have gone through is the defection of CPM leaders to TMC at Horiharpara during the 2021 West Bengal Assembly election. Actually, what happened in this is just before Assembly election 2021, the candidates were Niamat Sheikh and another was Mir Alamgir. Niamat Sheikh stood for TMC and Alamgir stood for the Alliance Party Congress and CPM. There, a person name was Inshar Ali Bishwash. He was a CPM ex-MLA. His brother was Samser Bishwas. He joined TMC on that very moment. With there was no news anywhere, nobody was informed, no political leaders etc was informed. Just he joined TMC, giving the issues, NRC issue, and also he said that to get rid of this all BJPs and etc. It's better we all should, means the villagers and we all should go for this TMC party. So this was another study which I have go through to make this local journalism which supports democracy. Here it also proves that electoral impact of the defection was the strengthening of the TMC's base and the weakening of the left front. Many voters who traditionally supported the left were now forced to choose between the two main political rivals. One is TMC and another one is the BJP. Then through the local journalist detailed news report, interviews with the defectors and analysis of the election's impact, they ensured that citizens were well informed about the shifting political landscape. Journalists also investigated the motivation behind the defection, often questioning whether their moves were based on ideological changes, development concerns, or mere opportunism. So elections, then in such a charged political atmosphere, local journalists took on the critical task of fact-checking claims made by both the TMC and the CPM during during these defections by providing clear and accurate information. Local media outlets the spread of false combated the spread of the falsehoods, ensuring that voters had access to reliable news. Okay.
No. Going back to that, so
Yes,
so
sir.
what you are saying is that this defection of a political
Yes.
leader from party A to party B was only reported by the community
Yes, Harihar Para
journalist.
Horia. This, yes, exactly. This news first
এটা
was
কোথায়
published.
বেরিয়েছে এটা? হ্যাঁ।
Harihar Times News. That was also took the shape of a national label from the news portal Harihar Times News 24.
হরিহরপাড়া Times
Harihar
News.
yes, 24.
No,
Yes,
no,
Harihar
I just
Times
wanted to
News.
understand,
Yes,
Horiharpara
sir.
Times News 24
Yes, sir.
was the only TV channel
This was
which
first came this published this news. Then the other big outlets, big medias came and knew these facts
No,
and
but tell
got
me
a
one
national
thing,
shape.
if he was an MP or an MLA or a local leader
Hmm.
who moved from TMC, who moved from left to TMC?
Exactly. Actually, this Samser Biswas was the Harihar area committee secretary.
So imagine Hariharpara committee secretary moving from left to TMC. Why should
Joining.
it be a no? So why should it be a national news?
Uh,
How are you, Munmun Palbag, impacted by
uh,
that news?
At first, means that was not a national news, but this
আমি সেটাই
happening
জিজ্ঞেস করছি
was.
মুনমুন see please understand the responsibility of a national publication or even a state publication is that there has to be a readership issue, there has to be a readership
Yes.
relevance.
Yes.
বোঝা যাচ্ছে মানে a national newspaper to carry a Horiharpara news of
The
a
news,
local
exactly.
councillor or somebody moving from party A to party B is
Yes,
not
sir.
significant.
Exactly.
You're getting my point. So therefore, that is where but it is significant for the people who are living there because they know this guy.
Yes.
They are directly affected by this guy. So আজকে একে যারা ফলোয়ার আছে তাদেরকেও TMC তে চলে যেতে হবে from left.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is more important for the news is more relevant for the community. So therefore, Horiharpara News has covered it. In the previous example, it is an Adani case. So Adani is a national news.
National
So
news.
there
But
I
that
can
also was
understand
first
if a
covered by the private. That was also
Munmun,
first
let me
covered
talk.
by the private.
Munmun, let me speak. Let me speak. So in the first case, it is Adani news. Okay. So in any news of Adani is a national news. So whether that news is happening at the remotest corners of the world or ABC doesn't matter. It's a publicly listed company. Lakhs of people have bought their shares. So any conflict in Adani will lack in fall of that share price. So everybody is impacted. So wherever it has happened, it is a national news. So if the local reporter has flashed that news first, it's a great achievement. So I can accept that example. But a Horiharpara non-MP, non-MLA moving from party A to party B, I doubt how nationally significant this move is for any national news to cover that. Please carry on.
Yes.
So that's
yes,
okay. Please carry on.
ওকে স্যার বাট স্যার জাস্ট আই ওয়ান্ট টু অ্যাড মানে যেটার সাহায্যে আমার এটা মনে হয়েছে যে এটা আমি অ্যাড করতে পারি সেটা হচ্ছে যে ওই সময়তে এই হরিহরপাড়া টাইমস এরা যদি এটাকে না আনতো সামনে তাহলে হয়তো এটা হিডেন থাকতো এবং
Munmun, how has
এটা
your
সামনেও
life
আসতো না
changed? No, Munmun, how
Yes.
has your life changed with this transition?
আমরা
How
যেহেতু
has
মুর্শিদাবাদের ইয়েস আমরা যেহেতু এখানকার রেসিডেন্ট তো আমাদের এটা আমাদেরকে ইম্প্যাক্ট ফেলেছে আমাদের ইম্প্যাক্ট ফেলেছে এটা যে এইরকম একটা
did you vote for that guy? Did you vote for that guy when he was in CPM?
সেরকম স্যার দ্যাটস
তাহলে কি
সেপারেট
করে
ইস্যু
ইম্প্যাক্ট ফেলেছে তাহলে কি করে ইম্প্যাক্ট ফেলেছে he is not an MP so no he is not a representative of the parliament, he is not a representative of the legislative assembly, so his constituency is this small.
Yes,
you're getting my point. So that is how it is. Chalo, please carry on.
But sir, just another thing I want to add is that at that time crucial developments ওই কনস্টিটিউয়েন্সিতে অনেক হচ্ছিল তো this incident helped that nothing but that. So I thought that this also will add in local journalism.
No, it is not adding. You can continue. Local news. See, if a local happening if somebody, who's a local leader or the Gram Panchayat leader has passed away, that is a big story in the local news. But it has no national significance. Please understand. So naturally, the local news এ সেটা front page এ আসবে, national ইয়েতে আসবেই না। ঠিক আছে?
That's true. Okay, sir.
Please
I will
continue.
add more cases while submitting
Yeah,
my
yeah.
final
At the relevant
final
cases.
paper.
So you
Oh,
identify the cases which are of national importance but not covered by the national news but covered by the local news first.
okay, sir.
And then the
Okay,
national
sir.
news picked up, which is possible. See, if my focus is Horipara and say I am working in NDTV or PTI or CNBC TV 18 or something like that, I may be covering the entire Murshidabad. There may be one journalist covering the entire Murshidabad. You're getting my point?
Sure.
So the journalist who's focusing on Horipara will flash the news first. But your
Sure.
choice of news has to be a national news so that you make the comparison correctly. So national news, first story broken by community journalist and then picked up by national dailies or national channels is what you are targeting at to establish your point. Okay?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I will keep this Adani news and I will add more such cases. Okay, sir. Then, so now comes revitalizing local journalism. So through public funding and non-profit models, digital innovation and audience engagement and collaborative journalism, this can be solved like collaborative journalism where multiple local outlets share resources and content offers a way to maximize the impact of shrinking newsroom. And finally, just keeping in mind about the time, I'm concluding my research article about this presentation. That is, local journalism is a cornerstone of democracy. As local journalism declines, so too does the public's ability to participate meaningfully in democracy. Without strong local
So I
journalism,
didn't understand your
democracy
methodology, Munmun. I didn't
methodology
understand your
case study.
methodology.
Sir, my
Acha.
methodology, I mainly
Okay,
focused
okay,
on case study. And
okay.
I'm very sorry that my second case study doesn't go, it will not
Acha.
go, but I will
Okay,
add
okay,
more. Adani, and I will
okay.
add
You
one or
can
two more.
also, see, you can also add a perspective where you interview, a journalist of, say, Horipara Times News 24 or somebody like that. That will add a lot of value to your paper. The
Okay.
perspective of a journalist who's actually working for peanuts and is and still thinks that his job is important enough to make the community aware of what he is doing. That perspective will add a lot to the case studies that you're sharing. You're getting my point?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So you add in your qualitative method that, along with case study, you do an interview.
Interview. Okay,
Okay.
sir. And I will.
Thank you. So that will explain the
So,
challenges that they face as a community journalist vis-a-vis, a national publication or a national channel journalist. Okay. So that'll add to your paper. Okay.
sure, sir. So without strong local journalism, democracy itself is at risk. And thank you, sir. Thank you for listening me. Thank you.
Thank you, Munmun.
Thank you, Munmun Palbag. We move on to the next presentation of today, a critical study on leveraging media reporting and its potential impact on mass outrage over societal crimes. A case study of August 9 Arjikor incident by Ananya Sen, Surendranath College for Women. You may proceed.
Am I audible and visible?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry,
You're-
my computing device is not working. I'm having it's call dropping constantly, so I had to take recourse to phone. I'm extremely sorry.
Will you be able to share your presentation via phone?
Sir, I'm sharing the presentation. Isn't it showing?
No, not yet.
No, your presentation is not visible.
Just a second. Ma'am, it's mailed. Can you show? Is it possible?
Sorry?
It is
It's
mailed.
mailed to you. Can you show?
No, it'd be difficult to show. Why don't you talk about it? No, that's okay. Why don't you talk about it? It's okay.
Okay,
ठीक है,
sir is
just
suggest.
just talk about your presentation. Take us through the presentation. You have the presentation with
So
you?
I'm just trying for the last time.
Yeah, sure. Otherwise, you just take us through the presentation one by one.
Is it showing? Is it showing
not-
the presentation? Okay, sir. Then as you suggest, I'm like,
You
shall I
have the
start?
presentation with you, so you take us through the
Yeah.
presentations. It's fine with us.
Yeah,
Come on.
sure. Yeah, sure. Thank you. Good afternoon, fellow presenters. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. So my presentation is on the topic, a critical study on leveraging TV reporting, television reporting, and its potential impact on mass outrage over societal crimes. And then in this regard, I'll be studying the RG incident that happened on August 9. So we know that media reporting in our society, it's taken to be, I'm talking in the parlance of television reporting. So television reporting mostly is taken to be prima facie until it's proven otherwise. And as a dynamic news disseminating force, television, it has a considerable grasp over how people view crimes and even its eventual fallout in the society. So there has been a case study, according to the Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism, which says that primary sources of news in India, mostly like 59% is television, 50% is print, then online including social media is 82%, social media itself only is 63%, and most like this. So it basically shows that television reporting is taken to be one of the if we talk about the most traditional form of reporting, it's newspaper. But after newspaper, television reporting is something that is taken to be, since it is audiovisual, it is taken to be extremely authentic. Of course, now in the days of social media, because of the clickbait system and because of the smartphones and digital devices that we have in hand, it's very easy for us to search through the search engines and get news instantly. But then also we have to remember that that mostly the news that are being circulated on social media, the clippings, those clippings are also taken from television interviews, television exclusive interviews or debates. Sometimes memes are made out of those debates. I'm sorry. So I want to say that this paper wants to examine the role of television reporting in this particular case, that is the 2024 August 9 rape and murder incident at RG. We all know that what happened there. A 31-year-old female postgraduate trainee doctor got raped and murdered on this particular day in the hospital premise. And this study is centering around investigative journalism, because the entire case is based on investigative study and how media is doing its role in uncovering facts on this particular issue with each passing day since August 9. And television has portrayed this incident since August 9. There has been various debates and discussions, news coverages, spot reportings, bulletins, spotlight programs, interviews, and also various information that have been constantly doing the rounds. Of course, the question remains that will all these effort on the part of television reporting will all this media furor and outrage lead into a more effective and justified outcome with the aid of television reporting. So I made a chart that I can't show now, but it basically talks. Basically, I've taken into account 5 regional channels. I was just studying in this paper. The paper studied that basically the regional channels like ABP Anando, just an example. It's not a part of the methodology, but as an example, I'm saying in the introduction part itself, like regional channels like ABP Anando, Republic Bangla, News 18 Bangla, TV9 Bangla, Kolkata TV, and Zee 24 Ghanta. I mean, the top regional television channels of Kolkata. They have been since August 9. And if we take into account the initial days of the protest, initial days of the incident when the protest just escalated, then they have been doing the spot reporting 24/7 live TV coverages, then interviews, exclusive interviews, TV news bulletins, debates and discussions, and breaking news and more updates. So the objective is basically to study whether regional television media houses have objectively presented the news, objectively as in free from bias, free from influences related to this incident at RG Kar Hospital, thereby playing its worthy role in news dissemination. The second objective is also to study, to get the viewpoint of the medical professional and the working journalists from their viewpoint also, that what they think, how media, because we know that media cannot bring in justice. That is the work of the Central Investigating Agency and the Honorable Supreme Court of India. They are going to bring that justice to us in our hands. But how media has helped in uncovering facts and whether it is at all reported objectively. Taking the paper will try to take viewpoints in this regard of the people. Coming into the methodology part, the paper has adopted a mixed method approach, combining and presenting data in both qualitative and quantitative grids. And because of the time constraint, the responses I could gather of only of 103 respondents via questionnaire circulated with the help of Google Form. Results of the survey will be demonstrated in the paper in form of pie charts, and the paper also has conducted 2 interviews. One is that of a postgraduate trainee in obstetrics and gynecology, and the other interview of a working journalist at TV9 Bangla. So these 2 interviews have been conducted, and the results of which have been analyzed in the paper critically, and there to understand their views on media activism on this particular rape and murder incident, and how media is uncovering facts, whether at all objectively or not. And
so in the questionnaire, can you share a few questions that you have asked, because the results are not there, so I need to understand what kind of exploration you're doing through your questionnaire method.
Extremely sorry, sir. My call is constantly dropping from the computer. So anyway, sir. So as I said, I also studied the 6 television channels in the initial days of the occurrence. Like from August 9 to August 16, also I studied a small case study in the methodology portion, a very small case study, just to understand the hashtags that all the channels are using, and the theme of hashtags and the commonality in the hashtags. So after studying the hashtags from between August 9 and August 16 of the news channels, like the 6 news channels mainly, I have said, like News 18 Bangla, TV9 Bangla, Republic Bangla, ABP Anando, Kolkata TV, and Zee 24 Ghanta. Some of the hashtags that came in commonly, one is of course hashtag justice for RG Kar, then hashtag RG Kar Medical College, then hashtag, I'm just reading the hashtags, hashtag doctors protest, hashtag doctors death, hashtag RG Kar case news, hashtag news alert. These are the hashtags that are common mostly in all that have been commonly used by all the channels while they have been telecasting the news in the early phase of this particular incident. Okay, moving on to the main methodology portion. As you said. And also one more thing I wanted to add, that while I was studying the hashtag, the paper was studying the hashtag, the paper also studied the theme. Under, for example, the paper identified 4 themes that these 6 regional channels kind of like they were trying to portray through the investigative journalism. One was demanding justice, and the codes used under these themes like agitation, protest, proper action needs to be taken, resignation of principle, anger, suspension of officials. This is under one theme. Then the next theme is through thorough investigation, like thorough probe that people are holistically demanding. Under that, certain codes have been studied, like suspicion, police, molestation,
Excuse me.
seminar hall. Yes.
Excuse me, your 10 minutes is over. We are allotting you a 2-minute bonus to wrap it up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Like in a similar way, 2 more themes like doctors and theme like research of death. Reason of death. Okay, now moving on to the questions. There 12 questions have been asked via a Google form, and some of the important questions I would like to read out. Like, media has played a vital role in shaping public opinion and leveraging We Want Justice movement, taking it to maximum number of people all over the nation. Do you agree? 64%, 64.1% says they strongly agree, and 34% they agree to this. Then another important question: how far do you rely on television reporting and its objectivity in reporting this particular crime incident? So to this, 44.7% said they strongly agree, and 38.8% said they mostly rely on television news because they are also considering social media and web portals. All these, they are taking these into considerations as well. Okay, like this, 12 questions have been answered. Okay.
Ananya, just one. Ananya, just one question.
Yes,
so
sir.
you have focused on the television channels.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you are analyzing hashtags. So basically, you are focusing on the online version of the television channels, right?
Sir, yes, sir. I want to say that since, sir, because as I said, that I was like talking of the initial days of the protest. So these online version, as in the live streaming, were simultaneously they were broadcast on YouTube, right? On the official YouTube channel. That's why I took into consideration the hashtags. If you ask us, then of course I'll omit that from the study.
No, so that you have to kind of specify that if you're talking about hashtags and if you're talking about television channels, then you are basically talking about the online rendition of the television channels. So where the
Yes, sir. Yes,
websites of the television channels.
Yes,
that
sir.
you have to
Yes,
specify. Otherwise, it's
Okay.
sending a wrong message.
Okay, I'll specify that in the paper.
Yeah, yeah. You need to specify. Also, what is lacking is that you are basically doing an impact analysis. Now,
Yes,
that way you have to actually specify 1 or 2 news that has made an impact into an awareness. So if there is some investigative news that any of these channels has brought out, which is not in common domain, that all have telecast together, I'm not talking about that news. If you can find 1 or 2 such news, please analyze that news. That this channel has broke this news and therefore it has given a new dimension to the investigation, something on these lines. Or this dimension was not explored earlier and this. So what you are saying is becoming a little generic and it needs a specific study and a specific direction. So revisit it, okay? Revisit it and identify some very specific examples. So if you are able to identify 2 news items and just study them and conclude that, well, there has been an impact of what the media is saying to what or if you can say that the media had a strong role in kind of that reclaiming the night event and the subsequent protests that are happening. If you can make a correlation of that from one news and this, try to make a correlation between what the, the electronic media is reporting and the impact on ground that is happening, whether it is investigation or whether it is the protest. So try
Okay.
to corroborate that to establish your point that the impact of media in this RGCOR event and how it is being portrayed. So questionnaires that you've
Okay.
got is fine, but while analyzing in your case study, include the case studies wherein that specific news of that specific channel, maybe in the portal, has kind of had an impact on the way the thing was going. What say?
Okay. With an example, sir.
The case studies have to be very specific. The case studies cannot be generic. There has
Yes,
to
sir.
be a connect between the cause and effect. So here, the media is kind of a cause which is basically helping the impact gain ground, the impact more broad based, and the impact's longevity is increasing. Never before has people kind of come out on their own accord and have sustained a protest for such a long period of time. Okay, without any political agenda. So I am
Right.
sure there is a very positive impact of media, but limiting yourself to electronic media will not make it a very strong paper. So what I'm saying is that you can look at the role of media. In your case studies, you then make the specific, cases where that specific news. So I am not talking about the generic news of how it was covered. I'm talking about one specific news, whether in the portal or in the channel or whatever, that has had a positive impact on,
Okay,
say,
sir.
the direction of investigation, direction of protest, direction of whatever. So
Right,
just
right.
dig a little
Understood.
deeper into that. You have a lot of
Okay.
data point, so please explore that.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
So two more
Sure.
interviews have been covered, and
Right.
that of a doctor from whom certain themes like themes on frequency on media reporting on this RGCOR case, both the doctor and a working journalist, they have given
Right.
positive response.
Right.
Another
Right.
theme like objectivity of reporting, they have given through their interview the codes like fact checking, data analysis, objectivity, mostly checked facts, codes like these have been generated. Then role of media in shaping public opinion from this particular theme, opinions of mass, voice of people, media playing crucial role. These things have been generated. Then
See,
from the
that role of shaping the public opinion, that you have to prove through your research. You are interviewing me and I am telling you that I think media is helping role. So if I'm a working journalist, I'll always say that, no, that we are very powerful and we are basically shaping the role of public. Or if there's a
Yes, sir.
doctor and they are saying that yes, media has been helping us in promoting our cause, that only means a statement of a person. But you are, as a researcher, analyzing one news and its impact thereof on ground, be it in the direction of investigation or in the direction of impact towards the making the cause more powerful.
Yes, sir.
Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ananya Sen. Thank you so much, Dr. Mahul Brahma sir. We have a small token of appreciation from our dean. We would like to present you that.
Why don't you come and let's take a group. Come,